ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling?
And you've obviously, Turtles was creator-owned. You did Tundra. You've taken a real interest in expanding creator rights and giving people outlet, but making sure they get paid as well. And heavy metal is an obvious example of this. I mean, how do you think the market has changed for creator-owned titles ever since you went, hey, I'm going to order 3,000 with some loaned money and live on the furniture I'm making out of them?
It's funny because the market, excuse me, my allergies are killing me. Or the cocaine last night, I don't know what.
Both Austin afflictions.
Exactly. The market was so different. When we started out, there were 26 distributors, the direct market, which is to distribute it directly to comic stores. I think there was more of around 5,000 or 6,000 comic stores, where now there's probably about 2,000 or less, and a lot of them are sort of role-playing games / hobby / comic stores. So when we put out an independent book, the system works. You put out the advertisement for it, the solicitation for it. They collect orders from the comic store, and based on the number of orders collected, it's a non-returnable market. So you would actually know whether you were a profit or not before you even spent the money to print. We learned this later. We didn't do that the first. We learned it with issue 2 and 3. But that's all gone now. I mean, that's, Capital's gone, Heroes World, all these great distributors are gone, and now there's only Diamond. And Diamond is a machine that's can be seriously ineffective at a great many levels, and even to, I deal with them constantly on issues with heavy metal and distribution or redistribution or solicitation or even paying us sometimes. And unless you hit a certain benchmark of, say, 2,500 copies these days, I think, maybe a little less than that, they won't even take on an independent comic. So to have the ability to actually get your, to have your Turtles, American Dream thing happen is it's an impossibility. But at the same time, I'm old enough so that I remember when they first introduced fax machines and cell phones and things like that. We now have the internet, and there's a lot of ways to get your idea out there to the masses in a number of ways where you can build an audience and you kind of grow the concept until maybe there's an opportunity to do a brick and mortar or print and paper version of it for your fans. Even skipping a bit ahead, even to the success and the control that we had and the animation, movies, TV, that kind of stuff. When that kind of stuff happened, because we were aware of guys like Jack Kirby and guys that lost control of the rights of the character, we were very adamant about our trademark protection and control, and we had enough success with the early issues of the Turtles. I mean, we were paying our rent and eating all the macaroni and cheese we could eat and pizza and whatever off the success of our comic book. So when Hollywood came knocking and said, we think this will be a great toy or this kind of thing, we really didn't honestly believe that. Most of the people that approached us we thought were really slimy and nasty, and we didn't want to work with them anyway. So we said no a lot to a lot of the early people that said, we think it can be all these things, and we want to represent you with a 5-year contract and exclusivity, and I'll control your characters for you. And we were like, eh. And right up until the agent that we ended up working with for a long time was a guy named Mark Friedman, and Mark came in with the same pitch. His $800 suit from New York. He drove up to meet Peter and I in our Northampton, Massachusetts office, which we were repainting. That was the first office that we had. It had 2 rooms. We were repainting it, so we were in shorts. It was in July, covered in paint, and Mark Friedman shows up with his perfect haircut and his $800 suit and his briefcase, and was like, does one of these, walks to the door and pause and looks like Eastman and Laird, thinking it might be some, welfare office. And he started his spiel of, 5-year contract, blah, 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 and we were like, don't even go there, and we agreed on a napkin in a local coffee shop to give him 30 days. We said that if you can come back to us with something interesting in the next 30 days, then we'll give you another 30 days. And we developed a level of respect, you know, pretty early on, and he was pretty aware that we were going to be protecting and controlling our characters. So we did. I mean, everything you ever saw with a turtle on, we saw it first. We approved it. We either drew it. I mean, whether, you know, you're talking about, it was Pete's idea to do the different colored bandanas at one of the toy company meetings, to the changes in the origin to the animation episodes, to approving the movie scripts. We worked on all 300 episodes of the cartoon. You know, those awful turtle Hostess pies that you ate, the turtle cereal that you gave your kids that made them bounce off the wall on the way to school. We were involved in all of that.
Listen to your woman, but not closely.